Well, the core of the program is to make sure that people start helping each other, like a traditional time bank. This is really the aim, that we want people to start taking care of each other, to build narrow, fine networks in neighborhoods, in communities, to take care of each other. Time banks have proven that they can perfectly do that. In our understanding, there is one important limitation to that. And that is that when you start a time bank, everybody starts at zero. It's a mutual credit in that sense. So if I need help, I need to get into debit for you to come and help me. But, well, potentially I'm disabled or I have a long-going care question. So, yeah, that it roughly stigmatizes me. I already had a difficult position financially, and I was a bit in the downside of the lower parts of the economy. So suddenly I'm building up additional debts. And secondly, to a certain extent, I cannot be held accountable for the fact that I am needing you and that I can't deliver up to well, what I've been using. So what we see in many LED schemes, in many time dollar programs worldwide, we see that this is a big, yeah, how do you say, obstacle in running currencies. It makes what we call in Dutch, it makes me question shy. I'm not really interested in formulating what I'm going to do. So it stigmatizes, and the amount of currency that you get in circulation is a problem. So a often used alternative, next slide, is that then the time bank organization goes into negative and just starts supplying people with credits. At least now I don't have a problem anymore, and I'm free to ask you and others to help me. But in the long run, this organization does not even have the ambition to recuperate the currencies that it has been issuing. So this is really a fiat currency. And the result of it is a bit Zimbabwean. And more and more currency are being spent into circulation, and suddenly everybody in this room already has a zillion time credits, and I need to now spend it, but because I'm still needing your help. And what I'll find is that everybody says, well, you know, I already have enough of them, I'm trying to spend it, so you get stagnation, you get inflation, and that's also what we see a lot. This program needs to be designed at a level that it potentially could be used by 5 million households. I don't think we ever get close. Even if we would get up to 10%, that would be the biggest time bank ever. But we need a system answer to this. So we, with all our knowledge on time currencies, or currencies in the broad sense, we started designing a different model. And that looks a bit like this. Next slide. And by the way, this is all online at first. The no notes paper-based. When you sign up to the program, we incentivize you by doing so with 3 time credits. When you connect to Facebook, you get an additional 3 credits. And by that, we slowly build you with an initial set of credits that you can start spending. And this is fiat currency. So everything that I just said was wrong, we do it as well. Next slide. Yeah, here you see it. If you complete your profile, you get an additional 3 points. And what is very important and potentially different from many community currencies or time banks is we do not ask you to say what you can offer in terms of ads that you place. We ask you what your competences are. So if you can cook, if you can drive, if you have a car, etc. And we ask you when is roughly your availability. And then we leave it to people who are looking for demand or looking for offer to, well, go and identify you and say, well, I see Fletcher, it is? Yeah, I see Fletcher that you're a good cook and potentially available on the Tuesday evening. Could you help me on that specific date? And that leads probably, that's our assumption, to a quicker uptake. Important is that what you see in many time bank programs is that the offer is not the problem, but the question is where do we get demand from? And it's really the challenge to get me to overcome my question shyness and to actually formulate a question. Well, one of the tricks that we use is to incentivize you by asking those questions, and for the first 4 that you drop, you get 6 points per ad. Well, invite friends, you get a couple of credits. Okay, next slide, please. So, this is the current situation. Next slide. The second step is that we start issuing currency to people who are more disabled. So this is a full fiat currency still, and I'm going to make it a bit more bigger. So Edgar comes back from the hospital. He has a broken arm, his right arm, he can't write, he can't cook, so he needs help for the next couple of months. He can come. You need a lot of help. So he can come to the fund, to the program, and say, well, this is my situation. We see that he has invited a couple of his friends. His friends endorse him on his story. And we say, well, okay, here you get 30 credits, and come back if you need more. So we help him to get more currency circulated.